So you know how it goes. Every time Samsung has something cooking, the leaks start piling up like crazy, and this time is no exception. In fact, with the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, the leaks aren't just trickling out, they're practically overflowing. It feels like every other day some small detail surfaces, and the picture keeps getting clearer. At this point, even though Samsung hasn't announced a single official thing, we already have a surprisingly deep understanding of what the company is planning. It all really kicked off over a month ago when Android Authority dropped the early sneak peek of the regular Galaxy Buds 4. Everyone was focused on the updated shape and the toned-down design. But honestly, those now feel like old news. Today, everything's shifted to the more premium Buds 4 Pro, and the leaks surrounding them have taken on a whole different level of intensity. Samsung might as well start leaving clues in broad daylight at this point, because people are digging through everything: firmware, apps, animations, obscure strings of code buried 5 layers deep. If it exists, someone is already trying to dissect it. The latest wave of information also comes from Android Authority, who dug into a fresh version of the Galaxy Buds app APK, tied to Samsung's upcoming One UI 8.5 update. This update isn't live yet, but Samsung's software always tends to hide future product references. And this time, 2 new code names popped up: Handle for the Buds 4 and Boch for the Buds 4 Pro. Samsung loves quirky internal names. But what matters isn't the words themselves, it's what the animations and references tied to those names reveal. And from what's hidden in that code, it seems like Samsung is ditching that sharper, angled look they introduced with the Buds 3 series. That triangular, almost futuristic aesthetic earned mixed reactions. Some people loved the boldness. Others thought it felt like Samsung was trying a bit too hard to stand out in a market where most earbuds are smooth and rounded. Now, the leaks suggest Samsung is pivoting again, but not in a way that copies AirPods or leans into generic designs. They aren't going full white stem clone like people feared. Instead, it's more of a clean, intentional shift that still feels distinctly Samsung recognizable without being loud. Subtle refinement seems to be the theme. But before we get deeper into the look, let's talk about the real star of these leaks: head gestures. Yes, actual physical head movements as a control system. And no, not that kind of gesture, don't let your mind go there. This is much simpler, at least on the surface. The idea is basically nod to say yes, shake to say no. Simple, basic, almost cartoonishly obvious. But Samsung seems to be taking this tiny concept and stretching it into a full-blown interface. Other companies already use head gestures in small ways. Sony has had similar features for calls. And Google does some motion-based stuff on Pixel Buds, but Samsung isn't stopping at answering or declining calls. According to the leaks, head gestures on the Buds 4 Pro will be integrated into One UI 8.5 as a broad, system-level control method. Imagine this. Someone calls you while your hands are full, maybe you're cooking, typing, holding a bag, whatever, and instead of tapping an earbud or fumbling for your phone, you just give a quick nod. Want to send the caller to voicemail instead? Shake your head. That alone is convenient, but Samsung goes further. The leaks mention gesture controls for pausing or continuing the reading of notifications, silencing alarms and timers, dismissing calendar or reminder alerts, and even responding to your AI assistant when it asks yes/no questions, all without speaking a word. It's a hands-free system in the literal sense, but also a voice-free one. This is a big deal for anyone who doesn't want to talk to their device in public, or who's in a situation where speaking out loud isn't an option. Imagine using your earbuds during a meeting, while commuting, or while working out. A tiny nod is subtle enough that people might not even notice you're controlling something. Now, is it a little futuristic? Sure. Is it also a little funny imagining people nodding to themselves in the grocery store? Also, yes. But give it time, this is exactly how new input systems start. Touch controls used to be weird too. So did voice commands. Now they're normal. Anyway, moving back to hardware. The Galaxy Buds 4 Pro design tweaks seem modest at first glance, but actually pretty meaningful. The Pro model is rumored to get a dual-tone finish, something a bit more mature and premium looking than before. Instead of the sharp, triangular stems on the Buds 3 Pro. The Buds 4 Pro appear to have flatter, more refined stems. They're not circular like AirPods, and they're not angled or edgy, they're somewhere in between. A kind of flattened stem, aesthetic that makes the earbuds look cleaner and more balanced. The earbuds themselves look smaller and rounder, which should translate into better comfort and less ear fatigue for long listening sessions. If Samsung learned anything from the success of the Buds 2 Pro, it's that people really value comfort above all else. Fancy features mean nothing if the earbuds hurt to wear after 20 minutes. This new design language, according to the leaks, is likely shared between the Buds 4 and the Buds 4 Pro, creating a more cohesive family look. The flashy light bar from the Buds 3 series? Yeah, that's gone. It was cool in concept, gave off a kind of futuristic vibe, but it didn't really serve a practical purpose for most people. Samsung seems to be streamlining things, cleaner lines, fewer gimmicks. One important thing that is sticking around is the pinch control system. That's great news because most users prefer pinch gestures over tapping the earbud body. Taps can misfire if you're adjusting the earbud. Pinches are more precise and less accidental. With the new stems being flatter, the sensation might be even clearer. And now pinch controls will be complemented by head gestures, giving you a hybrid input system that could be genuinely useful. Moving on to pairing, Samsung has apparently improved multi-device connectivity. They're calling it multi-device pairing, essentially Samsung's version of multipoint. You'll be able to stay connected to your phone and your tablet at the same time without needing to switch manually. Samsung has always had this ecosystem advantage, but their earbuds lagged behind competitors like Sony, Jabra, and even some budget brands that offer seamless multipoint. So this improvement makes sense. It's overdue, honestly. The charging case is also getting a redesign. Instead of storing the earbuds vertically like in previous generations, the Buds 4 Pro case will hold them horizontally. This is similar to how some other premium earbuds are designed and can make the case slightly wider but also flatter. The leaked specs mention around 530 mAh for the case, battery slightly above the approximately 515 mAh of the previous model. It's not a huge upgrade, but every little bit helps, especially considering the extra processing needed for gesture detection. And here's an interesting detail. The case might include a tiny speaker for Find My Case alerts. That's incredibly convenient. Losing your earbuds is one thing, they're usually in your ear or in the case, but losing the case, that happens way more than people admit. A beeping case would make recovery so much easier. Now, let's talk audio. While leaks can't tell us how something sounds, they can reveal features, and these leaks mention some meaningful upgrades. Improved active noise cancellation, better adaptive noise control, enhancements to 360 audio, and some form of upgraded pairing stability were all spotted in animation code. ANC improvements are expected. Samsung has been slowly catching up to Sony and Bose, but still hasn't overtaken them. The Buds 4 Pro might finally push them closer to that top tier. The mention of improved 360 audio recording is notable because Samsung has been tying spatial features to its ecosystem, especially Galaxy phones. So if you shoot videos or voice memos with a Galaxy device, you may get cleaner, more immersive audio thanks to the new microphones and software tuning. As for the release timeline, the consensus from leakers and analysts is early 2026, likely January or tied to Samsung's next Galaxy S series launch event. Samsung loves pairing new phones with new accessories. It's practically tradition at this point. Pricing remains a mystery. Some retailers have placeholder prices floating around online, but those numbers should never be taken seriously until Samsung confirms them. They're often too high or too low and only exist so retailers can create product pages in advance. But realistically, if Samsung stays consistent, the Buds 4 Pro will probably land somewhere around the same price as the Buds 2 Pro or Buds 3 Pro at launch. Maybe a slight increase if the gesture system adds cost. But nothing extreme. Samsung tends to keep earbuds competitively priced to stay ahead of Apple and Sony. Looking at the full scope of these leaks, if even half of what we've seen ends up in the final product, The Buds 4 Pro could easily become Samsung's most meaningful and ambitious earbuds upgrade in years.